Welcome to the Telescope Show. We laugh, we discover God, and we totally nerd out. My name is Matthew Seipel Anderson.
I'm Katie Seipel Anderson.
We hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Today we're talking about the Kenobi show. We're doing a Kenobi preview and talking about the Milwaukee Comic Con experience. Did you know that the first reoccurring comic convention was called Worldcon, and it started in 1939?
I did not know that.
Way back.
1939, that was a while ago. Worldcon. So does that mean the world was a part of it?
They were invited.
Or was it just out of this world?
The world was invited to a out of this world experience. Worldcon 39. If they were still rolling, they'd be coming up on 90 years.
Do you know when they stopped?
I don't know too much more information about it, unfortunately.
I don't know that.
It is very exciting, I'm sure.
The internet knows that.
It does. But I don't have a direct link to my brain yet, so, Yet.
Please don't do that.
Google's working on it. You know what else is exciting is that I met the winner of the Milwaukee Comic Con Cos-Play Contest last weekend, or a couple weekends ago. And I got a little interview, but that's for later.
Well, that was a little tease. I was about to ask you questions about it. How much later?
In about 11 minutes and 79 seconds.
Okay.
Which would actually be 12 minutes and 19 seconds. me and the math.
It's all relative.
But here's my interview with Lady Loki. All right, so I'm here with a couple of other cosplayers at Milwaukee Comic Con. So I believe you are Negan?
Negan from The Walking Dead, yes.
And Lady Loki, right? So say hello, Lady Loki.
Hello, how are you?
So this is Negan's, this is your first convention?
Yes, it is my first convention.
And you went all out, full cosplay.
Yeah, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it right.
And then Lady Loki is actually the winner of the Cos-Play Contest. How did that moment feel?
Unbelievable.
I think your outfit, the cherry on top of your outfit, is got to be the headdress. Is there a story behind the headdress?
I built 4 of them, and they kept breaking, so I finally just broke down and had to buy one, unfortunately. But everything else I made. It's
an amazing costume, and I completely love the homemade cosplay thing. It just makes the convention so fun. So thanks a lot for stopping by and saying hello. And congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, how about we talk about Kenobi? Ten years after the events of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan Kenobi is watching over Luke Skywalker on Tatooine when he finds himself embarking on a rollicking adventure.
Rollicking. I picture frolicking when I hear rollicking.
I know.
That's what I picture. So I picture Obi-Wan frolicking on Tatooine. That'll be interesting.
It's a happy word.
It is a happy word. Is it a happy TV show, though?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be quite bleak, actually.
Oh, good. Just when we want another dark, bleak show.
But, if they had...
I've been waiting for that. If only they would come out with something like that.
Just the copy, when you read it, he finds himself embarking on a depressing adventure.
I suppose that doesn't quite have the... Rollicking is much, much better.
My big question is, I have a couple big questions, I guess, but what is Obi-Wan's rollicking adventure? What could it be?
I just picture fields of flowers right now. And a frolicking Obi-Wan. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if he's supposed to be watching over Luke Skywalker, it's got to be a little limited, or you'd think.
Does he have any other Jedi friends that can babysit while he's gone?
I guess we'll find out.
Seems a little irresponsible just to go rollicking off into the galaxy.
I wonder if they'll bring in new people. But if it's a one-off TV show, because this is a one-off, isn't it? It's not like a continuing saga.
Correct. It is, I believe, 6 episodes.
I mean, a continuing saga, not part of the bigger. It's kind of
it's filling in the gaps. So this happens just before the cartoon Star Wars Rebels. So it's the prequels, 10 years pass, this show happens, and then Star Wars Rebels happens, and that's just before the first movie in the original trilogy.
Oh,
in the timeline.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So they kind of are hemmed in on story.
Big time. And that's my other big question. What in the world can they have Obi-Wan rollick off and do? That's going to be interesting because we know so many of the characters. We know they survive because they're in other things that come later. I'm sure they're creative people. I'm sure they came up with something.
Well, obviously they came up with something. They've got 6 episodes.
But
Whether it's
is
good or
it
not
good?
will be to be seen.
So here's what we know about the show. It has something to do with keeping Luke Skywalker safe. Obi-Wan will encounter the Inquisitors from Star Wars Rebels. So that's exciting. But again, there are characters that are in Star Wars Rebels, which comes later. So most of them are going to live.
But it could be an interesting backstory that they use. So then when we encounter them in the future, it makes it more interesting.
Yes, I'm sure they'll do some of that.
If that's just in Star Wars Rebels, I will probably never encounter them in the future. So
the Inquisitors are interesting characters. Not to nerd out too hardcore here, but in the Star Wars world,
I feel the nerd out coming.
All right, it's coming.
The hands are
You know what,
folded
though?
right now. You're ready to teach me some things right now. Professor Matt is coming out.
Some of you are going to love this. Some of you just hang on. It won't take very long. So in the Star Wars universe, back in the day, there were lots of Sith and lots of Jedi. But on the Sith side, there was a problem in that the Sith always double-crossed each other and were always fighting for dominance, and the Jedi cooperated. So this one Sith Lord decided he was going to destroy all of his competition, and he was going to be the only Sith, and he would raise up one apprentice, and at some point that apprentice would take his place because he died, or would become powerful enough in the dark side, and he would get old and weak, and they would defeat him and become the Sith Lord, and they would take an apprentice. And that's how the Sith would go. So he called it the Rule of Two. I believe his name was Darth Bane.
Darth Bane.
Bane.
So the Jedi are as many as can be a Jedi should be a Jedi. But then the Sith are nope, just 2.
Correct. Now, in the Star Wars world, Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader are the 2. However, they're deciding to bend that rule by creating this underclass of Sith called the Inquisitors. So they're force sensitive, they use lightsabers, but they're not fully trained in the ways of the dark side.
Okay, so now the actual Jedi are down to almost nothing, and they actually have more Siths.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to encounter those guys. They're going to be chasing down Obi. Some of them are from Rebels, but some of them are new, which, again, I'm thinking to myself, okay, the ones that are new and we don't know most likely are going to be the ones to die in this series, and the ones that we know are obviously going to continue on.
What if no one dies in this series?
That could be.
That would be interesting. That'd be different.
We're getting at least one new planet, which is fun. I'm a little tired of Tatooine, the whole desert motif. It's cool. It's very Star Wars, but, now we've got Book of Boba Fett, The Mandalorian, a bunch of stuff in the other movies, and the Kenobi series, all happening on Tatooine. And it's like a complete galaxy full of planets that are supposedly habitable, so
it's time.
It's time. It's time to move on from Tatooine. But I'm sure a lot of it will happen on Tatooine, but there will be other planets. That's cool. Hayden Christensen is reprising his role as Darth Vader. So, there was a lot of shade being thrown at Hayden Christensen during the prequel era, but I think the younger fans have now grown up and are really excited to have him back.
Okay. He wasn't my favorite character, but I'm definitely willing to, have an open mind towards this.
He grew on me, and I thought his performance in Revenge of the Sith was pretty good. I enjoyed that movie quite a bit.
It's also hard to know if it, how much of it is just the writing, his dialogue and stuff.
True.
I don't know.
True.
Those weren't my favorite Star Wars, but
I thought he looked a little small to be Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah, because Darth Vader was kind of a large, imposing character.
Kind of large, imposing, yeah. And Hayden Christensen, he's very athletic, and he's believable as a fighter, but he doesn't strike me as large and imposing.
But if he lost his legs, they could just maybe make him bigger,
at least taller.
Yeah, the stockiness can happen with age.
That's true. And he's totally encased in armor, so that's going to make him bigger. So I guess it's believable.
It's believable.
Speaking of Hayden Christensen and Darth Vader, they are hinting at a Vader Obi-Wan rematch.
Who kills Obi-Wan?
Darth Vader.
So isn't that their rematch? You mean another rematch? So a pre-rematch
Well,
rematch?
in Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan was responsible for taking down Anakin, and that's why he had to be put into the armor in the first place, because Obi-Wan, whacked his legs off with a lightsaber, left him to die on the lava planet. And so, presumably, Darth Vader wants some revenge. But then in A New Hope, the first of the original trilogy, Obi-Wan basically, vanished into the forest, and Darth Vader's lightsaber, passed through his cloak and confused him, and then that allowed Luke and the gang to escape.
So it's still a pre-rematch. They still already had a rematch.
Correct.
Or they're still already going to have a rematch.
It's a prequel of their rematch.
We're talking about this way too long. It's not that big of a deal.
So we always like to throw theories out about what's coming down the road for these shows. So, Katie, I don't really have any theories that I've come up with, but I did hear an interesting one online. Do you have any theories before I share this?
It's going to be a rollicking adventure. That's my theory.
So the theory I heard goes something like this. The Inquisitors are tracking down another Jedi who survived Order 66, maybe a Padawan, something like that, and Obi-Wan has to go off and go to the rescue. That's where he's going to encounter the Inquisitors. Guessing it's probably going to put his whole mission to keep Luke Skywalker safe in peril because he's off planet and it could be pretty dicey for a while. So, that's the theory I heard. I think that's a pretty good theory that really fits with what we know about the show so far.
Yeah, it's definitely consistent with what the preview said. I think the most poignant part of the preview was a quote when one of the bad guys, I don't know which one, but...
Can you say it in an evil-sounding voice?
I'm just not very good at that, as we know from last week's episode when I absolutely refused to do that. Jedi cannot... Maybe my voice is just naturally evil-sounding.
Ooh. Or naturally good.
Oh, well, I'll take that one. Jedi cannot help what they are. Their compassion leaves a trail. The Jedi code is like an itch. He cannot help it.
I think that's a great description of the Jedi, and it actually reminds me of a Bible verse. John 13:35 says, "By this all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." That Bible verse is a great ideal that we try to live up to, and it's a little bit like the Jedi.
A little bit like the Jedi. I don't know that I would be able to actually go on a rollicking adventure to save a Padawan, though. Not sure. Maybe I could. I mean, with the grace of God and the power of God, you can really do whatever. So maybe we could.
I mean, you've been to Africa and you've been to Mexico.
True. That's
so you've
true.
had some rollicking adventures.
Had some rollicking adventures. They were adventures and they were good times. And did some pretty incredible things. Speaking of incredible things, you did at the Milwaukee Comic Con connect up with a ministry, or was it a church that did this kind of thing on the side to help people in need, showing the love of Christ in this way, just in a different way than going and saving a Padawan?
Right. They do a lot of Christian Jedi work. They're called City on a Hill Ministry. They're not a church, but they're just an inner city ministry. They provide all kinds of crisis help for people and life skills training, and just they do a lot of great things in the community of Milwaukee. And so it was fun at the conference to be able to connect some people up and let them know what City on a Hill is doing.
Yeah, there are a lot of those ministries out there. We just don't always know about them. This one actually was pretty cool because it had a medical clinic too.
Yeah. Every weekend they do medical clinics. Yeah, so we're looking forward to doing some other Comic-Con events coming up. We don't have anything in stone yet, but we're hoping for a summer event and a fall event. So we'll keep you posted on those things.
Well, the big question, though, that everyone is thinking, at least that I'm thinking, is
Yes.
Are you going to dress up next time?
Ooh.
Are you going to do some cosplay? Are you going to be a part of the dress-up contest?
I don't know. Okay, I have to baby step it. I think maybe the next step would be just to cosplay, but not be in the contest.
I mean, why not go all in with both feet? Just jump in, full force.
I mean, I don't know. If I can come up with a cool enough costume.
Yeah, well, what would you be?
Who do you think I could be?
I still think Gandalf.
Is that because I'm so wise?
Yeah.
Or is it because I have some long hairs
on
my
eyebrows?
My eyebrows. I'm getting old guy Gandalf eyebrows.
We talked about this before, and I thought Gandalf. But Matt was thinking more like Jean-Luc Picard or something like that.
I think I've got the
bald head.
I've got the bald head and a similar physique.
Yeah.
Kind of similar. Well, we shall see what the future holds for me and cosplay and Comic-Cons. If you're listening and you're out there and you need some help, hey, feel free to reach out. I would love to be able to try my best to connect you with some resources in your area, so you can reach out to us through email, thetelescope@icloud.com, or through our website, thetelescopeshow.com. Otherwise, hey, make sure you like, subscribe, share this episode, and we will be talking to you again on an episode really soon. Well, actually, 7 days from now. So love you all. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.